WWE and Netflix are touting that Monday Night Raw got off to a strong start with a big viewership number for its premiere episode on the streaming service. In a press release issued on Thursday, WWE and Netflix stated that Monday's Raw episode averaged 2.6 million households in the United States in live and same day viewing. Globally, the viewership number was nearly 5 million. The press release stated Netflix and WWE, part of TKO Group Holdings, today announced that the debut episode of Raw on Netflix got off to a strong start with the Monday night program, capturing 4.9 million Live Plus One viewers globally. The inaugural event on Netflix averaged 2.6 million households in the US, according to Video Amp, which is 116% higher than Raw's average 2024 US audience of 1.2 million households and higher than any other Monday Night Raw broadcast in the past 5 years. The event also almost doubled the adult 18 to 49 audience versus last year. Views are defined as total view hours for the program divided by the runtime, which Netflix says is their nearest proxy for average minute audience at the household level and does not include co-viewing. Raw was held at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles this Monday and was headlined by CM Punk defeating Seth Rollins, John Cena, The Rock, The Undertaker, and Triple H all made appearances on the show. The press release also states that WWE generated more than 223 million social media views across its platform on the day of the Netflix premiere, which is more than any Raw episode in 2024. San Jose, California will host the second episode of Raw on Netflix, with the show set to take place from the SAP Center next Monday, January 13th. Additionally, the TKO family may grow over the next few weeks, as a report out of Wednesday has the owners of WWE and UFC teaming up with Saudi Arabia to launch a new boxing league. While rumors of TKO and the Saudis partnering up on boxing began in 2024, a New York Times report stated that a company owned by the country's public investment fund is close to creating a league with TKO featuring up-and-coming boxers tied exclusively to the league that could be announced at some point in the next few weeks. WWE and the Saudis just announced that the Royal Rumble will be heading to the country in 2026 in the latest extension of their longtime relationship. UFC head Dana White has long felt that boxing is broken and has wanted to do something about it. TKO president Mark Shapiro said on a November investor call that if the company was to do something with boxing, it would be in an organic way and not by purchasing an existing entity. Saudi Arabia General Entertainment Authority chairman has been a key driver in bringing major boxing events to the country in recent years, with a potential eye towards something like this. According to the report, TKO would be a managing partner with the aforementioned fund covering the investment. TKO would receive an equity stake and a revenue share. On to our next story. Fightful reported on Wednesday night that those that they spoke with in AEW believed Malakai Black is either done or will be finishing up. Dave Meltzer added on Wrestling Observer Radio that when he asked, he was neither given a denial or a verification. Both Meltzer and Brian Alvarez said the rumor backstage was that the 39-year-old is done with the company. The news comes after Will Ospreay's promo following his win over Buddy Matthews that opened Wednesday's Dynamite, where he said Matthews and Brody King don't need a leader. The three have been the faction known as the House of Black since February 2022. In a promo shared on X afterwards, Buddy Matthews said those words from Ospreay didn't fall on deaf ears. Malakai Black was in the news Monday as he will work an indie match this weekend. Fightful had previously reported that his contract had option years after 2024, with Tony Khan previously stating that Malakai Black was under contract until 2027. He signed with AEW in July 2021 after being released by WWE. After taking some time off to recalibrate his life, Malakai Black said in September 2022 that he had requested a release, but when a report came out that he had gained a highly conditional release, he denied it, saying he would be back soon. It's unclear what happened on both sides during this time. This past November, after a Dynamite match with Adam Cole where they hugged afterwards and Cole then put him over as he was leaving, Malakai Black took to social media again to deny he was leaving or retiring. Malakai Black wrestled in 3 matches since then, all trios or tag teams. He last appeared at November's Full Gear. If he is done in AEW, he leaves with 71 matches under his belt, no singles title, and a 175-day run as AEW Trios Champion with Matthews and King. Only 15 of his 71 matches were singles bouts, with just 5 this year. Malakai Black dealt with several injuries in his tenure, including a back injury he thought would force him into retirement, as well as a calf tear and hyperextended knee. His wife, Zelina Vega, is currently with WWE. While he said the last few years were a slow death for his character in WWE, Dave Meltzer had reported at the time there was a belief WWE felt they made a mistake in releasing him and wanted to resign him before he went to AEW. On to our next story. WWE has entered into a partnership with technology entertainment company Cosm to present premium live events in shared reality. It was announced today that WWE and Cosm have reached a multi-year partnership that will see WWE PLE shown at the Cosm locations. Starting with the Royal Rumble, fans can buy tickets and attend Cosm facilities to watch PLEs with a ringside experience on an 87-foot dome screen. Cosm currently has 2 venues in Los Angeles and Dallas, with 2 more being planned for Atlanta and Detroit. Royal Rumble, which is taking place from Indianapolis on Saturday, February 1st, will be broadcast at Cosm's Dallas venue, but not the Los Angeles one. Cosm also carries other sporting events, hyping that their shared reality experience is able to bridge the virtual and physical worlds by merging state of the art visuals with the energy and atmosphere of the crowd. On to our next story. In an interview with TMZ Sports, Mark Henry reacted to Hulk Hogan getting booed on Raw's Netflix premiere. Mark Henry said Hulk Hogan never wanted to fix things after his racism scandal and thought that it was just going to go away, saying he never wanted to go forward and fix it. That's what happens when you think everything is going to go away. It's not going to go away. I offered to say, hey, let's do a tour of the black colleges, law schools, and explain what happened. And he didn't want to do that. On to our next story. Femi is the new NXT champion. At NXT New Year's Evil, he defeated Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe in a 3-way match to become the new champion. This ends Trick Williams' reign with the championship after 93 days when he defeated Ethan Page for the title during NXT's premiere on the CW back on October 1st. The finish had Trick Williams going for the trick knee as Thorpe looked to use a chair. However, Obafemi saw Williams coming and threw him into Thorpe, colliding into both Thorpe and the chair. Femi then hit the pop-up powerbomb to win the title. WWE shared footage of Shawn Michaels congratulating Obafemi backstage after his NXT Championship win. Take a look.
Good job, man. There you go. Awesome. Good job. Congratulations.
Additionally, Giulia has won her first gold in WWE. In the opening match of NXT New Year's Evil in LA, Giulia kicked off the new year by defeating Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title. This ends Perez's 274-day reign with the title after defeating Lyra Valkyria at NXT Stand and Deliver last April. The finish of Tuesday's match had Cora Jade interfere, helping Roxanne Perez back into the ring as both women were on the outside. Roxanne hit Pop Rocks and went for an armbar as the referee sent Jade to the back. Giulia cut off Roxanne and hit the second Northern Lights bomb of the match to win the championship. Giulia made her debut for WWE back at No Mercy in September, directly confronting Roxanne. The two faced off on the CW premiere episode of NXT the following month, with Roxanne emerging as the winner. Giulia regained momentum after winning the NXT Iron Survivor Challenge at the Deadline Premium Live event last month, earning herself another shot at the NXT Women's title. And speaking of New Year's Evil, the show averaged 957,000 viewers on the CW, up 52.9% from last week. It's the best viewership total for NXT since moving to the CW and is the show's largest overall audience since September 25th, 2019. NXT drew a 0.25 rating in the 18 to 49 demo. That's up 66.7% from last week and is the best rating the show has done in that category since the debut episode on CW. The show featured an appearance by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which was publicized the night before on Raw's Netflix premiere, along with multiple title matches. On to our next story. During his appearance on Insight with Chris Van Vliet, Seth Rollins was asked if he thought about how much longer he's going to wrestle, to which Seth Rollins said, "I think about it all the time. I'm 38. I will be 39 in May. I think I've got more than a couple of years left in me. The dynamic of the industry has shifted so much. I'm not wrestling 200 times a year anymore. I'm not on the road 300 days a year anymore. Live events, non-televised events have kind of dissipated, which for me, guys like me, I've wrestled over 2,000 matches in my career. That's nice for me. It's just like riding a bike for me. We'll see how it is for people coming up who need that experience. We'll see what that looks like in a few years. But with that schedule, I feel like I'll be able to extend my career probably longer than I thought I was going to. And then it just depends on where I want to go from there, what I want to do next, and how much time I'd like to spend at home with my daughter, taking her to do things that are important to her that are a lot more important than making towns." Moving on to our next story. If Jeff Jarrett is to fulfill his hope of winning the AEW World title before he ends his in-ring career, he won't have long to do it. In an in-ring promo with MJF on Wednesday's Dynamite, the former AEW World Champion revealed that he learned Jeff Jarrett's final in-ring contract lasts just 1 year. MJF then offered his help in assisting Jeff Jarrett to win the title in exchange for getting the first title shot. Jeff Jarrett turned down the offer, which MJF didn't care for. Jeff Jarrett was unable to make it into the ring for Wednesday's Casino Gauntlet match as he was taken out by Wheeler Yuta before he could enter. On last week's Dynamite, Jeff Jarrett said he had signed the final in-ring contract of his career with the goal of winning the world title. The former WCW and NWA World Champion and WWE title holder has never got a shot at the AEW title in his 2+ years with the company. The 57-year-old has been in AEW since the fall of 2022, joining the company as their director of business development. He has wrestled over 40 matches during his run. And in case you missed it, Triple H and other WWE stars spoke following the Netflix Raw premiere. John Cena, Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, CM Punk, and Triple H all spoke to the media following Monday's premiere. Here are some of the top highlights. Kicking things off with John Cena. The first question asked about him potentially wrestling The Rock, John Cena said he was trying to set realistic expectations with Monday's promo and stressed his storyline about his losing streak heading into the Royal Rumble. Cena also reiterated that this is his last Royal Rumble and hopes it gives him the energy to get to WrestleMania.
I was trying to make a realistic sense of, I don't quite have the capacity to come in and demand main events, because it's been quite a long time since I've put together a string of wins, and I just wanted to set realistic expectations for the audience. And I see a lot of headlines, and by the way, thank you, because without your buzz, we don't get the crowds that we get and the enthusiasm we get, so thank you very much. But with all the speculation of like, oh, could it be this person, could it be this person, I kind of just wanted to let the crowd know that, like, I'm just grateful to have a chance. And then it kind of struck me out there that there are a few lottery tickets out there, so you never know. You know, I just, 17's been floating out in the universe, and I don't know if 36 dates is enough time to work my way up from having won a match in a long, long time to #1 contender. So, you know, if I get lucky in one of these lottery things, I'll be very happy.
In terms of how many matches he'll have during 2025, he said that it is well beyond his scope of field.
So that's well beyond my scope of field. I have never made demands. I just show up, they hand me the menu, and I do the best I can with what I got. So that's not a good question for me. That's a good question for the guys probably going to have the press conference.
Regarding using personas like the Prototype or Thug Life, Cena said there are elements of that around already.
So Peacemaker's a DC thing, and you never know, never say never, right? So the great thing about the farewell tour tonight, we debuted a new outfit, and it was very regionally focused. So the Prototype, you know, I don't know if I got all the string to grow out the crappy blonde hair again, but the Prototype wore different colors, the colors of the home team, so to speak. I'm really looking forward to trying to go back to the way I started, and Thug Life, the doctor of thugonomics, John Cena, would wear home or sometimes away jerseys. So there's elements of everything already in front of you. I think hopefully by the end of all this, everyone will, if you want to see a certain facet of the 23 years I've been in the business, hopefully you get that little sprinkle. I'm definitely focused on that, and hopefully we can deliver.
Moving on to Roman Reigns. When asked about a future match with The Rock, Roman said that he will let the internet do its thing, saying, "We'll see."
I don't have to tease anything. You guys do it for us. We're just going to let the internet do its thing.
Additionally, Paul Heyman said there should be no reason why Roman Reigns shouldn't get an Emmy this coming year, saying Roman Reigns didn't miss a single week during COVID while production shut down everywhere. He also said WWE himself and Paul Levesque deserve Emmys.
A platform that can just simply not be denied on a domestic nor global basis. There is no excuse anymore for Roman Reigns not to be nominated for and win an Emmy this coming year. It has to happen. I am so sick of it now that the entire television industry has come out of COVID, and Roman Reigns did not miss a single week of television when every other production was shut down. Took this company from the COVID era to where it is, to multi-billion dollar, to a merger, to now that we're on Netflix. There is no more excuse. Roman Reigns deserves an Emmy. And, you know, I'll throw myself into that too. The wise man deserves an Emmy too. And while we're at it, Paul Levesque deserves an Emmy. WWE deserves an Emmy. But it all starts with the acknowledgement of who is the most captivating, who is the most riveting, who is the most compelling character on television today. And it has been the same way for the past 5 years. And that answer is, and I'm biased, but that doesn't make me wrong. That answer is Roman Reigns.
Moving on to Rhea Ripley. Rhea said that she and Liv were done after tonight and was excited to see what the future brings.
It felt like everything that I've been working for over the past year, well, since getting injured, has finally come back around. Liv, she tried to take everything from me, and I understand the shoulder thing. I do. People think that I don't understand it. 1 for 1, arm for arm. But the thing is, Liv took much more than just my shoulder and much more than 3 months of my career. She made me vacate. She took my family, Dom. She also broke my face, targeted my knee. She's done many, many things. So finally pinning her in a championship match and getting my baby back, it meant absolutely everything to me. Obviously, I was on the way to being one of the longest reigning women's champions here in the WWE. And I'm just excited to see what happens next. Now that I'm past Liv, I'm past the Judgment Day, this ended tonight. So I'm excited to see what the future brings.
In regards to her moment with The Undertaker, Ripley said she thought that kicking Dominic in the nether regions would be the highlight of the night. But then that happened. She said it was a moment she'll never forget. She can't wait to rub it in Damian Priest's face.
Honestly, I thought that kicking Dom in the nuts was going to be the highlight. Yeah. And then Taker came out, and yeah, honestly, it's such a special moment. I've been able to be in the ring with people that I watched growing up, the greats. I've been able to go out there while I was a part of the Judgment Day and step in the ring with people that I would never think that I could step in the ring with. Like, I was a part of Randy Orton's comeback match, CM Punk's return, Randy's first promo back here in the WWE after being injured for so long. I got to step in the ring with all these cool people, but now, after winning my baby back, my Women's World Championship, and having the dead man come out, hearing the dong in real life, it was absolutely insane. It's a moment that I'm never going to forget. Like, watching him growing up, I thought he was absolutely amazing, and I think I know actually, I can't wait to be rubbing this in Damian Priest's face.
And moving on to CM Punk. Punk was asked about facing either The Rock or John Cena.
I think I want gold around my waist, but those two names come with big fat paychecks, so I'm not going to say no to it. It could be interesting. I wouldn't say no to it. I'm into the big high pressure money situations. You know, I think that's when I come alive. I definitely owe The Rock. I definitely owe John. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I would welcome both of them with open arms. I saw John, passed him in the hallway. He looked a little tired. He looked like he needed to go to sleep. So I'm sure I'll see him in Indianapolis.
Additionally, I asked CM Punk about how he sees this part of his career. He responded by saying he doesn't want people to focus on his body falling apart, but he wants people to understand he's 46. He's just starting to understand the business, but his body is falling apart.
I don't want people to focus on the words, my body is falling apart. I want people to understand that I'm 46 years old, and the part of the business that is just so bittersweet is because I'm just now starting to understand it, and my body is falling apart. But my mind has never been sharper. I think tearing my tricep for 8 minutes by myself in a Tampa or Orlando hotel, crying my eyes out before I got the guts to call my wife and tell her that I was hurt. I felt sorry for myself, and I said, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know if that's true, because some pretty bad stuff has happened to me. But I told myself I was going to make it the best thing that ever happened to me, and I think I did. I made it such a speed bump. I was still on TV, I was in the mix, I was on the microphone, I was in a sling in front of everybody, and, you know, really took the lemons that life gave me and I turned it gold. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever been better. I think that was one of the career years for me, and I think 2025, my goal is to obviously top what I did in 2024.
And of course, Triple H. He pushed the new Arena Gate record with 17,514 attending Monday's show. When running down the card for next week's show, Triple H assumed everybody already knew who Chad Gable's opponent was for next week, referring to Penta. The first question asked about the biggest changes with the move to Netflix, Triple H said the biggest difference between streaming and cable is the commercials, as they have been given more flexibility.
Commercial breaks are different. The timing of them is different. I think you see in the format tonight, there's a certain amount of commercial time you have to put in per hour. But then how we adjust that and how we move that around is a little bit, it's more flexible for us here. So I think that's great. I think when you sort of see this in the long run, it's all in how we program it to some degree. You know, there are weeks in the past on regular USA every single week, right, when we've had Raw, where, you know, you see people's comments and they're like, oh, so many commercials this week. Why are there so many commercials? It does the same commercials every single week. We didn't do a good job of getting you in and out of them. For whatever reason, might be planning, but it also might just be something went over and you have to shift everything, right? It's there's a certain amount of stuff you have to get in the show, a certain amount of time to do it within. And if stuff moves, it's not like you can just say, well, we'll just make this longer or not take a commercial break here or there, right? So it takes a lot of coordinating and effort, but I think you'll see a more manageable commercial load, and hopefully for those that aren't having the commercial, the ability for us to continue content within will be meaningful. So
Triple H said that the show had to be approached as a standalone event. Next week's Raw will return to a more episodic feel.
You just do, right? There's no, like, we can't do that. There's no, it's going to be too hard. It's going to happen in 7 days, and we'll either follow it up well or we won't. I think the thing that we tried to do tonight, right or wrong, was because this had such like this vibe of like a WrestleMania moment, we almost had to approach it as like almost, I hate saying standalone event, but you almost kind of had to approach it like a standalone event. So there's a lot of things on here that were the, you know, nothing ever ends here, but like sort of the end of something or the blow off of something that sort of this event within itself sort of, you know, there's things on here that a little bit led you to next week and will storyline wise lead us to further things, but it wasn't necessary about that. So I think when we get into next week's show, you'll see us get much more back into episodic and how things lead to the next. As far as how do you follow it, it is the question you ask after every big thing we do here. You know, after every PLE that you do, when you get done WrestleMania and you have 2 nights, if it goes really well, you're like, oh great, we got to figure out how to follow that next year and try to make it better than it was. I never want anything to be like, that was good, but it wasn't as good as the last thing. You always strive for it to be better. So how do we make it better? The staff that's here, the talent that are here, the people that are here, and we all work our ass off to make it better. It's the only way to do it.
Some announcements on Travis Scott collaborations will be coming soon.
Travis Scott, who, you know, we talk about celebrities coming in here or outside fans, so to speak, coming in here and loving what we do. Travis Scott is another guy like Bad Bunny that grew up watching this, is like this incredible fan, loves, respects what we do, wants to participate in what we do. I think everybody should expect to see more things from Travis Scott in a big way. As it relates to Travis Scott, I'd like to personally thank Jey Uso for just saying no on the entrance. That could have gone very different, and I'm thankful that it didn't. Yeah, I think we'll have some announcements on it soon. Travis is one of those wonderfully creative people, and he loves what we do. So when you, at least for me, when I meet with him, whether Zoom or in person, it's like this fountain of ideas. That stuff just keeps coming out, and then we get done and you have this list of stuff, and then it's like, all right, let's get together again next week or whatever, and let's see what we still believe should stay on the list and what we take off. So there's a lot of things that are up in the air, but we you know, just talked about it tonight here. We're gonna, next couple of days, he and I are gonna get together and have a convo about where we wanna go next. He's excited, I'm excited to work with him, we are all excited, Nick's excited to do business with him, and I think he brings, anytime you can work with a musician or an artist that is so big like that, it's a wonderful opportunity, it's challenging. It's a wonderful opportunity, but the best part about it is when they love what we do. So, you know, when Travis comes back to Gorilla after going out there with Jay, and he's like a little kid, and he's like, dude, that's so much cooler than what I do. Like the energy, the excitement level is different, it radiates different, that's way beyond a concert. It's cool to hear, you know, like from somebody that does that. Now, is that partly just because that's what he does and this is different and yeah, you know, maybe, but it's cool to hear. It's cool to see somebody at that level that does what he does, that this, you know, being in an arena like this, what he does every day, the arenas, stadiums, he sells them out all over the globe, one of the biggest artists on the planet. But to hear him feel like this is next level for him is awesome. And he comes to it with that energy and that authenticity that you just, that's the kind of stuff that excites me and makes me want to work with somebody like him, because if he's that excited about it and we're excited about it and we all start to collaborate on the great things are going to come from it. So we'll be getting with you guys shortly to tell you some cool stuff that's on the way.
While talking about the cold open to Monday's show, Triple H talked about the reaction of him in the video using phrases like heel, babyface, shoot, and work. He said that they are not trying to hide what they do, arguing the terms have even transcended the business.
You know, I saw a lot of chatter today from people saying like, oh my God, they said heel and face and shoot and work in one promo. Like, we're not hiding what we do. That's what we do. And to be honest, I think most of the world understands those terms, and sort of now they've almost transcended our business. I see people talking about that in others. He's a heel, this guy, right? Like it's transcended our business. It's what it is. People know what we are. We talk about it. We're not insulting anybody's intelligence, but we're an art form, absolutely an art form that captures people's emotions. We don't take ourselves as seriously as most other people take us. So it was all part of trying to capture that and say, If you've watched, watch this, and hopefully we honor what you love. If you've never watched this, watch this. We'll explain to you in it what we are.
He also said he was very happy with what went down at the show, happy with the talent. He said there was a cool vibe happening there, ready to make the product great. And last but not least, he said that they are learning along the way, mentioning the new lighting and camera angles. They are learning and trying new things. That's a wrap for this episode of The Latest. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.